I stole that.
I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree. But the trees are dying. The poor things, alas, why they didn't go smoke? It's a poisonous gas.